My name is the Alchemist, you know what I mean? Seldom seen, you know, I'm in the low, I'm in the studio, you know what I'm saying? That's my position. That's what I do, you know what I mean? And we got a team. That's how the team works. You know, I leave my peoples, they maintain the rhyme in that whole side of the world, and I maintain my side of the world. We come together. And that's basically what I do, you know what I'm saying? And you know, this is where we at right now. This is the laboratory. That's where we do with most of the music. I migrated over to the East Coast. Shit, you know, I'm from Los Angeles. I grew up, you know, West LA, you know, in an area where there's a lot of movie stars and rich kids and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's a lot different than where we're at right now. You know, you got your hoods over there too, but that's where I grew up at, you know, and I made my way over here through the school and in college and shit like that, and I just ended up here and just said, fuck it, I'm here now, and I made my mark pretty much over here. You know, I still do my thing on the West Coast. I go back all the time. That's my family. I was mad young when I've been in the rap shit since, you know, that was it for me, you know. That's proof that rap breaks a lot of barriers and it goes everywhere. Cause, you know, I was playing them shits, watching your own TV raps, listening to KDAY, which was a radio station in LA, which, you know, you had your ways to find the music, you know, if you really was really into it. And I was just, you know, one of those type of kids who's just into it, you know. You know, we used to run around the house, me and my brother, and just saying rap lines all day. Like, you know, my parents thought we were crazy. You know, we were just in, we were in that mode, you know, and it was like, you know, it reached that world, you know, just that's the point I'm making. It reached that world, but I got into the group thing, I think. I don't know what, damn, I must have been like 13 or something, or 12, you know, like just messing around in school and shit, you know, lunchtime and shit like that. And then I eventually linked up with my man who was taking it a little more seriously when we were like 14 and shit, 15. Popped off a little group called the Hooligans. We got put on by the Soul Assassin Clique, which was Muggs and Be Real, Cypress Hill, basically. And it was also House of Pain, who was big at the time. They had to jump around shit. And Funk Dubious was another group. It was like 4 or 5 groups. It was a clique, kind of like Rough Riders and how they have cliques, you know. And that it was, we kind of got put on by them. You know, that was my first introduction to the game. And that's pretty much the family I still rap with to this day. Infamous and all of that is my family as well, from moving to the East and clicking. It's been, you know, a good 4 or 5 years now, you know what I'm saying? And time is key and stuff like that, and I feel like it's been tried and tested. I'm down with them as well, the same way I'm down with my Soul Assassins families, Muggs, Cypress Hill, and all of that. And, you know, being down with Muggs, DJ Lethal, who became Limp Bizkit, a lot of people who was making beats back in those days, and I was just absorbing it. I'm like a fucking sponge when I'm around shit like that. If I'm into it, I don't say nothing, I'm just picking up shit, you know what I mean? That's about part of creativity, is adding on, and you know what I'm saying, and absorbing up shit that you peep. So that's how I got into the beat thing, you know. The first little bit of money I got, I bought a beat machine. The ASR-10 machine is like a keyboard and shit, and it's a drum sequencer as well and all of that. And that's what I first bought. You know, DJ Lethal, you know, what up? Lethal, you know what I'm saying? He put me on and bought me that. He was doing a lot of our beats when I was rapping. He put me on, you know, I was gonna buy the SP. That was the machine that was hot at the time, the SP12. You know, at that time I was underneath Muggs, you know, just learning a lot of his stuff. And he used to line them shits up. You know what I mean? Like 4 or 5 of them, man. It was crazy. Like he was bugged. He did crazy shit. But then I picked up the ASR, just, you know, it was just, I just picked it up, and it grew. You know, I still use it. I use other machines too, but that's my shit. I just know, I know the machine. I know it. I don't even have to think, man. I work that shit in the dark, straight up and down. I'll make beats sometimes and start getting dark. I don't even realize it's pitch black making the beat. I know the machine. I don't think about how to use it. And I mastered other machines too, to the point where I could rock like that too. And that's when you get your fullest creative, because you're not thinking about how to do it. You're just thinking about what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. You know, you don't want to waste your creative energy on that. The whole little rap thing we were doing kind of just never really made out, but I kept in with that clique, Soul Assassins and Muggs. That's when I started going hard on the beats, like really doing it, you know, like making a lot of beats every day. And Muggs was peeping how I was really, you know, like my energy as a young kid. I was into it. We worked on Cypress Hill 3 album together, and that was my first joint where I was doing a lot of production, you know what I'm saying? And then you know, over the year, then I decided to go to school in New York, and I moved and just bounced. I went to New York, and I was out there, and Muggs, who God bless the dead, was working with a man by the name of Bigger B. You know what I'm saying? He used to be at Loud Records on the West Coast. He was, you know, instrumental in anything Loud Records ever did on the West Coast. You know, he passed away a couple years ago, but he was working with Muggs at the time, and also was affiliated with Loud. And through his connections, old connections with Loud and Mobb Deep, he connected Muggs up with Having P for Muggs' first Soul Assassin 1 album. And I remember Muggs even telling me back in the day, like, yo, man, these young cats, man, you know, these cats, you know, they down with the mob, and they're just excited to work. They were getting Muggs charged to work. You know what I mean? I remember that, him telling me before I even met the dudes. And, you know, so that happened. The Soul Assassin 1 went down. Muggs did a Mobb Deep song, and he did an infamous Mob song. Now, fast forward to the next, maybe a year later, when I was in New York, and Muggs was like, yo, I'm gonna work on this Soul Assassin 2 album. I want you to do the beat for Infamous Mob, and you know, so that was Thug Music, which ended up on Mobb Deep's album. You know what I mean? That was at the beginning of our relationship. I remember it was at D&D Studios, and it was funny because I don't think they knew that I had did the beat. Like Muggs, I don't think Muggs had made it very clear. You know, it was kind of, he passed the beat CD off. You know, it wasn't like nothing like that. He just hadn't really made it clear. You know, and so I was there with Muggs. We were doing the session, we were chilling, and then Muggs, like halfway through, Muggs, it was getting late, and he had to break out. So he was just like, yo, Al, hold it down for me. Cool, you know. So Muggs bounced, and I remember God was like, man, fuck. He was heated. He was tight. He was like, man, fuck, man. You know what I'm saying? Muggs bounced. He was like, man, like. He thought that they weren't into the song or something because Muggs bounced, and then I remember I was like, nah, don't worry about it. I did the beat, you know, like I'ma hold it down, you know. I did the beat, and they were like, word? Like they didn't know, you know. And they were like, oh, word, you know. Even Noy was writing the rhyme, and he put Muggs' name in it for Gotti, and then he switched it, you know, to put my name in it because it was like they didn't know, you know. And so I guess that, you know, it was cool, you know. They had, you know, because I wasn't all in everybody's face, like, yeah, I did this beat, you know. I guess they got gained a little bit of the respect, you know. And after that, I remember I just did that, and then like a couple weeks later, I remember I gave them my numbers and shit, and then Gotti called me one day. I was in the studio somewhere, and I got a call, and he was like, yo, Optimo. And he called me, I just got a call, yo, this Optimo. I'm like, huh? He was like, yo, Optimo. I'm like, huh? And he was like, yeah, what up, it's Gotti's. And I'm like, oh. He didn't know what my name was. Akamo. He could not say my name, but fuck it, because he was trying to call me. He was like, yo, son, shit is hot. He liked the Thug, that was Thug Music. And he was like, yo, this ill, you know, we want to work on it some more. And we want you to come through and, you know, play some shit for Having P. They working on Murder Music. I mean, he had a Murder Music album. You know, they had already been halfway done with it, I think. Or they had worked on some joints already. That was the beginning of that whole shit. I don't remember how it went from there, but I remember they were at Soundtrack all the time, and I just started coming through little by little. You know what I mean? It took a while. You know what I mean? It's not like that. You know, there's definitely not a clique where they just let the motherfucker in. Like, hey, you're in the team now, come on. You know, so it was gradual. You know what I mean? And that song, Thug Music, that we were doing for Muggs' album, they liked it. And Having P was, you know, they liked it too. And they were like, fuck it, we're going to throw this on the album, you know? And that was big for me. I was like, wow, you know, so that was part of the beginning of all that shit. You know, it's like making beats, man, there's no regulation. There's no way to say and put it on a fucking chartboard and go, say, this is how it is right here, you know? There's no way to do that. It's spontaneous, 100%. You know what I mean? You might fucking lean over, and you might be like leaning over and just do some shit like that, and you hear something you push on the key, and you're like that. Next thing you know, you're looking it up and you're making a beat now off of some shit you did by accident. You know, I've seen that, you know, from Hav. Hav is the master of that, you know. He'll just flip, you know, fucking scratch off a wall or something. Like he'll do, you know, he does anything, man. It's just unorthodox, and it's just, you're free to do anything you want to do, you know. And that's why I say, like, you can't really call it, you know. But it's basically directed on how you feel. If you're true with this shit, you're not trying to do it to get some quick scratch or something, you know what I mean? Or like some paper. If you're really, really into this shit, it's like you never know, you know? If you're fucked up right now, if you're mad about some shit, it's gonna come out of the music. You know, it's not as to the T as when you write a rhyme, because you can really say in words how you feel. But if I want to make you sound, if you want something that sound like nighttime, I can play a beat that, you know, 8 out of 10 people in the room are gonna say that sounds like night. If I had to say what time of day does this sound like, you know what I mean? That's part of it, where it's like, you know, it comes across how you feel. You know, you still confined within records. You gotta dig through records to find your sound. You know, I'm not fucking Mozart. I don't like have them feeling that I'm like going to the keys, doing some crazy shit. I play some shit, you know, because there's no rules. But I'm not. That's not where my skills. My ear is my skills to me. You know, so you gotta just be always thinking about shit, man. You gotta all day be thinking about music and how you're gonna flip something and whatnot. And you know, you be in a restaurant or something, come on real low in the back. Oh yeah, I gotta flip that. Or you sometimes I go to the record store and just go through records. I got all the fucking records already. I'm just going through them. It's just like it gets your mind, oh yeah, I should flip that. I already got all of them. I don't have to buy anything. Sometimes I just go there and flip through them, you know? Because it gets your mind going. You look at covers, you look at song titles from the 70s. Like, they were on some shit, you know? It wasn't like it is right now. And all of that shit sparks things. Like, you know, like for example, when we did Noise shit to Shoot 'Em Up, Bang Bang, which was a 12-inch that we had just thrown out recently, you know, and it's got a crazy response, you know, and like that was probably one of the most successful records I ever put out on our shit, you know. It is actually, you know, and but the record was, we flipped from an old classic, and it was something that I was meditating on. Kind of like when you see a fucking vulture flies around the shit, and then it zooms in for the kill. I'll do that with a loop sometimes. Like, I'll just listen to the whole record for over and over for like half an hour, just keep listening to the song, and I'll figure out the spot I'm gonna attack, and then I just do it. You know what I mean? You never know. Or sometimes you just be listening to something and just, oh, catch it. But don't get it twisted for all the kids who make beats and all that, and they're pressing buttons and shit and just passing out a CD and waiting for a check. That's not production. You know what I mean? That's the yellow and red and green belt. And then when you get to the black belt, like Dre and them did years ago, and all of them, and I don't feel I'm there yet. You know what I mean? Because I didn't even produce a whole album yet. And that's proof in the pudding right there, you know? And that's why nobody can ever say I'm on Havoc's level, say I'm on any Premier's level. Are they fucking crazy? Because I got a lot to prove still. You know what I mean? And I've only been work for hire for cats and done my thing here and there. You know, when I do whole albums that people feel and all of that, then I'll be more happy to take those type of compliments. You know, I can't accept that. I'm not on no Havoc's level. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Look at the list of shit that he's done. You know what I'm saying? Or Primo, or any of those dudes for that matter. I know I'm glad to be even thought of, and that, you know, one day try to get to that point, and I'm gonna do it. Believe I will. I looked up to, you know, always looked up to the producers, man. You know, first it was Marley, you know, of the original era. You know, Dre, I was on the West. He, you know, just was the man. You know, still to this day. Probably, you know, the dude who I was, you know, the most influential Premier. You know, he's, you know, I studied the most from him. You know, he, like, you know, I owe it to all those people. You know, I remember Everlast used to say back in the day, he's like, I used to take this, a little bit of this guy's style, a little bit of this guy's style, a little bit of this, use it all together and make my style. He's like, you know, and that's a little bit how I do with beats. Some people say, yo, I know your style. I'm like, how could you? Because when I'm making this beat, I was thinking of how somebody might have did it 10 years ago who I looked up to, or how, you know, I'm not, so, you know, I mean, I could go down the list all day. You know, you got dudes like Pete Rock and Large Professor and Diamond D. Those were the dudes I was really, you know, like studying from, the beat nuts, showbiz. I mean, you're going forever, you know. And nowadays you got, you know, you can tell the kids who are putting it down now who were raised from that era, you know. Like, you know, a lot of dudes out right now who got some shit beat-wise, you know what I mean? Listen, man. So, you know, basically that was the whole, you know, this is where we do the music, and, you know, we're looking out for y'all coming through and peeping it, you know what I'm saying?